What's up, guys? Welcome to lesson 2.6, graphing in 4 quadrants. Let's do it. So here in number 18, it says name the ordered pair, and we're talking about this point right here, K. And here's the point, it's a little hard to see. So what is this? Where are we, first of all, on the y-axis, sorry. So on the y-axis, it's hard to read. This is a 0 right here. This right here is a -2. So K is kind of in between -2 and -4. And it's also right on the y-axis. So this whole thing right here is the y-axis. So that means if it's on the y-axis, it means it's not going anywhere, right? We're going to the right, certain numbers, right? This is 2, this is 4. But it's right on the y-axis. That means the x value is actually at 0. It hasn't gone left or right at all. And the y value is right in between -2 and -4, directly in the center, which means our coordinate is 0, -3. -3 is in between -2 and -4. Let's go on to number 30. Graph and name quadrant. We got this point right here. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a graph. This is how you do it. It doesn't always have to be pretty. Mine's not the prettiest here, but I'm doing my best. So we got -1. So first we got 1 on the y-axis. So I'm going to just draw out a couple hash marks here. This is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we know we're at 1 on the x-axis, but I'm not going to fill anything in yet. Let's just draw a couple for y. We got a 1 up there. We got a -1, -2. Now what's going to happen is we just look at, on x we're at 1. On y we're at -1. So we kind of drop down. So we go out on x, then down on y. There's our point, and that's it. That is 1, -1. Now let's go to this one. This is a more interesting question. It says, this point I right here, if the x coordinate is less than 0 and the y coordinate is greater than 0, what quadrant is it in? Well, let's think about this for a second. So first of all, we're going to make our little graph here. And again, we know this is probably going to be 1, 2, 3, and these over here are going to be negative numbers, like that. 2, 3. Okay, so we got a nice little graph set up. Now, if x is less than 0, that means we're going somewhere down this way, but we don't know where. And then it says y is greater than 0, so let's say we're going this way on x and somewhere this way on y, because greater than 0, y, we're going up. So we're somewhere in here. We don't know exactly. We could be down here. We could be up here. But all we know is x is negative, y is positive. So somewhere in this quadrant. What is this quadrant? This is quadrant 1. And this right here is quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So right here is quadrant 2 is our final answer. Let's go on to the last question, number 40. The function tail shows the balance on a $50 music card. Oh, so this is supposed to say table, not tail. I was kind of confused. The function table shows the balance on a $50 music card after a certain number of songs have been downloaded. Make a graph to show how the number of songs downloaded and the remaining balance are related. So this is arbitrary as far as what's going to be on the x and y. I'm going to choose songs on the x. This first. You guys can do it as you like. Either way, literally, it really doesn't matter. All right, so we go 0, 5, 10, 15. So of course it's going to be 0. I'm only drawing the positive piece because we're not going in the negatives. Let's say this is 5. Let's say this is 10 and 15. Okay. And we go up to between 35 and 50. So we gotta take that into account. Now you can do a couple of things. I'm gonna do a nice graph including everything. You don't have to, but let's do it. Like, I'm gonna try my best. So we'll say 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. So we got 50 up here, 40, 30, and 20. Okay, so what's going on? So at 0, we're all the way up here. I'm gonna do this in a different color so you can see it. At 50, we're all the way up here at 0. At 5, we're up at 45. That's kind of in between 40 and 50. So 5, we're going all the way right here. At 10, we are at 40. So right here. and at 15 we are at 35. So now you can kind of see we got a nice little graph. It's sort of going like this, and we can see as this continues down, it looks like every time the songs goes up by 5, our balance drops by 5. So it seems to be that one-to-one relationship. And that is it.